A songwriter looked at the biggest success of his entire career and felt nothing but dread. So he wrote a song that sounds like sunshine on the radio, but is actually a man watching his own band die in real time, and titled it After the Weather. It's 1970. Creedence Clearwater Revival isn't just a band. They are, by some measures, the best-selling act in America. They played Woodstock. They have released 5 albums in barely 2 years, a pace that should have been impossible. But inside the studio, the swamp rock kings of America are quietly falling apart. And one man is watching the whole machine grind toward collapse. Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Isn't a song about the weather. And it isn't a protest song either, whatever 50 years of listeners have assumed. It is the sound of a man realizing, in real time, that the best days of his life are already ending, even while the sun is still technically out. This is the story of a hit song that predicted its own band's funeral. To understand why this song is a tragedy wearing a happy melody, you have to understand the pressure it was born into. By 1970, Creedence Clearwater Revival is arguably the biggest rock band on the planet, outselling even the Beatles across 1969 and 1970, according to the band's own drummer, and doing it despite a strange quirk of bad timing, 5 separate top 10 singles that each stalled at number 2, never once reaching number 1, a chart record that still stands today. But Tom Fogerty, the man writing nearly every song, singing lead, and producing every record, is also holding the whole operation together by force of will. His bandmates, drummer Doug Clifford, bassist Stu Cook, and Fogerty's own older brother Tom on rhythm guitar, are exhausted by that arrangement. As the band prepares to record their 6th album, Pendulum, in late 1970, the 3 of them corner Fogerty and demand something radical for the band: an equal democratic vote in the group's decisions, and a real share in the songwriting credit that had made Fogerty rich. Fogerty is looking at his own creation and sensing correctly that it is about to come apart in his hands. For decades, listeners have assumed this song is about the Vietnam War. It's an easy read. Rain as a stand-in for falling bombs feels natural coming from the same band that wrote Fortunate Son. But Fogerty himself has said, plainly and repeatedly, that the song has nothing to do with Vietnam at all. The rain in the song is his own family. Fogerty was standing at the absolute peak of commercial success, the sunny day of the lyric, and felt nothing around him but misery, the rain. He was watching his own brother quietly pull away. He was watching his rhythm section stage, which amounted to a mutiny. He was holding gold records while feeling cold inside. The song's central question is really Fogerty asking whether anyone else has ever felt a storm arrive on what should have been the best day of their life, the specific, hollow feeling of getting everything you wanted and discovering it isn't nearly enough. Most bands break apart because they fail. This one broke apart because it succeeded almost too much, and the first real casualty was the bond between 2 brothers. Tom Fogerty had actually been the original frontman, back when the group was just a bar band called the Blue Velvets, long before the Creedence name existed. But as John's songwriting talent took over, Tom was slowly pushed into the background, from lead singer to rhythm guitarist, standing in his younger brother's shadow. By the Pendulum sessions, that imbalance had curdled into real resentment. One verse of the song, where Fogerty describes the days growing colder and the sun losing its warmth, reads almost like a direct message to the room, documenting the freeze happening between the brothers in real time. Have You Ever Seen the Rain was released as a single in January of 1971. Within weeks, Tom Fogerty quit the band for good, worn down by years of feeling like an employee inside his own family. The single had barely hit the airwaves before the rain the song predicted actually arrived. The band limped along as a trio for one more album before collapsing entirely in 1972. If the lyrics captured a family falling apart, the arrangement itself captures a band running out of energy to fight. Musically, this track is a sharp turn away from the aggressive, swampy grit that built CCR's reputation. Songs like Born on the Bayou attack the listener. This one is gentle, mid-tempo, almost tired. The acoustic guitar that opens it is simple and unhurried. Stu Cook's bass walks steadily beneath it, but it feels heavy rather than driving. Underneath it all sits a warm, melancholic organ that gives the whole track an almost church-like quality, like a hymn played at closing time. And Fogerty's vocal is unusually restrained for him. He isn't shouting the way he does on the band's rowdier hits. He sounds like he's holding something back. Even the high notes in the chorus land less like triumph and more like pleading. It is a small miracle of arrangement because it sounds completely effortless. Four guys playing together on a porch. Getting there actually took real tension, endless retakes, and constant arguments. They were performing unity while living through the opposite. Before we get to how this all finally landed, quick pause. If you want more of the unfiltered truth behind the biggest legends in music history, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Now back to it, because the way this story actually ended took decades longer than anyone expected. The cruelest joke in this whole story is that the song written about a band's death became the very thing that kept that band's legacy alive forever. After Creedence dissolved in 1972, things didn't just end quietly. They turned into open legal warfare with the band's own record label, run by an executive named Saul Zaentz. Fogerty felt so mistreated that he refused to perform any Creedence songs live for roughly 15 years, finally breaking that silence in 1987 at a concert for Vietnam veterans. The lawsuits between Fogerty and his old label dragged on for decades after that, at one point even forcing him to defend himself in court against the accusation that his own solo song sounded too much like his own earlier one. He won. Meanwhile, out in the world, Have You Ever Seen the Rain kept growing far beyond the Fogerty family's private drama, eventually being covered by artists ranging from Johnny Cash to Rod Stewart to the Ramones. The irony is almost unbearable. A song written by a man convinced his life was falling apart has become one of the most streamed classic rock songs in the world, sung back to him by crowds of strangers who have no idea it was ever about heartbreak at all. Great songs are supposed to resolve. This one, fittingly, doesn't quite. Listen to the very end of the recording and there's no dramatic final flourish. The last chord simply rings out, and then it stops. It feels unfinished, almost abrupt, and that absence mirrors the real story perfectly. Tom Fogerty died in 1990, having never fully patched things up with his brother. Whatever storm existed between them never really passed. And yet decades later, John Fogerty has said the meaning of the song shifted for him entirely, that a track born out of heartbreak eventually came to remind him of his own young daughter instead, turning what once felt like a funeral into something closer to a lullaby. In 2023, nearly 60 years after first signing that contract, and after decades of legal battles, he finally bought back majority control of the publishing rights on those very songs. Have You Ever Seen the Rain included, though the master recordings themselves remain out of his hands to this day. Some storms really don't fully pass. You just eventually learn how to stand in the rain. Now I want to hear from you. Did you always assume this song was about Vietnam? Or did you already know the real story behind it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you want to uncover more feuds, breakdowns, and the unfiltered truth behind the biggest legends in music history, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us for the next deep dive. Thanks for watching.